In this example, we'll look at how to utilize being given a midpoint to prove triangles congruent. So if you see in this example, we are given that M is the midpoint of OL and PN, and that's all that we're given. But there's still enough information for us to prove the two triangles congruent. Now, first of all, what I always look for first is if we have any vertical angles, which we do. So that's one piece of information we'll be able to utilize to prove triangles congruent. Now, when we say M is the midpoint, it means that it is the point in the middle, like the exact middle, as in cutting something in half. And so M cuts OL in half. So that means that this piece of OL is exactly the same as this piece of OL. Also, we are told that M is the midpoint of PN. So that means it's perfectly in the middle of PN, meaning that this piece, NM, is the same as PM. Now I'm looking and I have enough information to prove the triangle is congruent by side angle side. So I'll set up my proof. So I've set up a 2-column proof, and I've started by writing my given in, that M is the midpoint of OL and PN. Now, a lot of times people will forget the other piece of this that they have to write, because it isn't explicitly stated yet that LM and OM are congruent, as well as NM and PM. So that will be my next step. LM is congruent to OM, as well as NM is congruent to PM. And I can put them in the same step since they have the same reason. The reason I know those are congruent is by the definition of midpoint. The other piece of information that I got from the figure is the vertical angles that are congruent. So angle LMN is congruent to angle OMP, vertical angles. And finally, I have enough to prove my triangle is congruent by side angle side congruence, and that triangle LMN is congruent to triangle OMP.